Funny, today I did have a Dorito taco from Taco Bell.
And you didn't do a review. See, I'm here to remind you.
They had a new thing called the grilled cheese burrito.
Oh.
I had that. Why didn't I do the trash? Talk about missed opportunities.
I'm here to remind you.
Anywho, so I did the BTS chicken nugget meal, and I did the review for that. And I was like, okay, the chicken nuggets are fine. These sauces are fine. But, oh, my God, the fries. The fries went better with the sauces than the nuggets did.
It's exactly what I was going to say. Because there's so much barbecue sauce on the McRib, then you've got the fries.
Yes.
I don't use the whole loaf because it comes in like that little McRib loaf.
Right.
In order to make myself feel better, allow myself to feel better about eating all those fries and that McRib, I take off half the bread.
Yeah.
It's just
have your carbs. You don't have to worry about it. Do you keep the top or the bottom part?
Whatever has the pickles and onions.
It's always the top part.
I know. Yeah. So that's better because it's a better part of the bread.
Better. Yeah,
I need every restaurant to please put the pickles, lettuce, tomatoes, onions all on the top. So when I remove the bottom bun, I'm not losing all that tastiness.
I think that's
not always
SOP, no?
No, not always.
Wow.
I know. Especially when I get a great bagel. By the way, for everyone who's wondering, yes, this is how conversations with me go. We'll go from this and we'll go to Rittenhouse and we'll talk about how Steve Bannon has been indicted for contempt of court. We can do it all. And we'll talk about James Bond. We will get this all done in an hour, I assure. And the Anti-Cruelty Society. See, These are all the things we must get to.
It's all over we're going to get there. It's going to be a magical ride, folks.
Yes, it will. While I was going through the drive-thru, I had to go downtown. You and I have talked a lot about some of the things that are going on in Chicago. You and I are passionate about a lot of these issues. And do you find yourself pacing yourself better on social media when it comes to getting into arguments, whether it's about the Bible or politics or social issues?
I've learned to kind of... I've for my own mental health, I've learned to kind of stay away from a lot of it. There's good friend Dave Lundy has a Facebook page where he really does like to troll his conservative friends, and he has these two that are just, we're talking.
Oh yeah, Jim and I don't know who the other one is, but I know Nick. Yes.
Yeah, Nick.
I've gotten
Nick, not so calm.
Not so.
Yeah, and Jim, crazy man.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking. He puts the nut job in right-wing nut job. Because he'll write this long treatise of a comment. I'm like, dude, really?
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. And I get halfway through, and I'm like, oh boy, this guy's part of the aluminum foil hat brigade. And 100%. I'm like, why am I reading this? If this was someone who was sitting on the red line spouting out stuff, I would just turn my headphones up and ignore them. So that's essentially what I do now on social media. When I run into those folks, I'm like, I ignore them. I don't need to give them any room in any brain power whatsoever. I have friends that I like to talk to.
Hi.
There are lots of great. Thank you. Hi. Hello. And there are a lot of really great edifying things that I can talk about. And the reality is that half the time, folks don't want to go in to have a debate. They want to go in to troll.
They're disingenuous in their dialogue.
That's generally what happens on Dave's page. They're trolling. They're not trying to really make a point.
Let's see if Steve from the Gold Coast wants to make a point. I'm guessing this is about the trial in Wisconsin in the Rittenhouse case. Hey, Steve, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. And I just wanted to talk about for a moment this phenomenon that is social media, because now, unless you've been under a rock for the last few years, you realize that, it's both the right and the left and the center and everyone else that's being exploited by social media.
Yes.
It turns out that you're lured into these kinds of discussions and debates and to respond to other people's responses in the comment section and so forth, all because the algorithm is set up that way. And it really is created the kind of divisive society in which we live, in which we find ourselves. And people need to recognize that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with vigorous debate in a democratic society, but don't let yourself be pulled into this rabbit hole. I mean, there's a point at which you simply have to decide, I'm not going to have a discussion with people. If you find yourself in a debate room with someone who's arguing the equivalent of flat earth theory, just leave. It's not as if you're going to convince somebody who believes that the earth is flat that it's not.
Right.
So a lot of these people, for those who don't know it, about a week and a half ago, hundreds of them showed up at Dealey Plaza thinking that JFK Jr. was going to come back from the dead.
We talked about that, the QAnon folks who were convinced, yes.
this is a whole nother level. There's the QAnon people who believe that, the Clintons and the Obamas are the head of some sort of conspiracy to turn us into, a Western European socialist style state. Okay, I think that's crazy, but at least you can sort of understand that it's not uber crazy. That's okay. That there are things about, Western European style systems of government that I would like to see implemented here. And the Clintons and the Obamas, I venture to say, also believe that. But the idea that dead people are going to come back and assume office, okay, you're in a different land, and I have no reason to agree with you at that point, because you need medical help at that point.
Right. We're not even starting from ground zero of understanding.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Now, and with regard to the Rittenhouse case, I do see it as being highly politicized. And I know a lot of people who are very staunch progressives, a lot of them very avid callers to a lot of the shows on WCPT who want to make every argument under the sun that there is in order to get Kyle Rittenhouse convicted. And I understand that because I don't share his politics. I don't share his worldview. But at the same time, I'm wary about shredding the Constitution in order to get somebody convicted. Like I say, I don't like the individual, but at the same time, in the context of the law that defines Wisconsin, I find it really difficult to believe that he's going to be convicted of any of the major charges.
I agree, and it sounds as though the judge wants lesser charges in this case as well.
Exactly, and that for those people who want to see some sort of a conviction, actually it comes as welcome news, because if you were just left with the original set of charges, okay, he's guilty of this, and you can't find him guilty of a lesser included charge, then that's it. You're probably going to lose this one. But allowing lesser included charges, that means that there's still that possibility that you can find him guilty of something, they'll do a few years, but just left with the original charges and nothing else, all in or nothing, that means you probably lose. And I think that there would be a chance that you might get a hung jury on a few of the charges or an out-and-out acquittal. But
and from what I understand with prosecutors, they go with what they're confident they can win. And I'm guessing during the course of this trial, that prosecutor's like, oh, this judge, it's not working out for us, based on the...
Well, I mean, yeah, right. I mean, and the judge, and again, people have got to understand within the context of Wisconsin, so it's an open carry state, and if you assert self-defense, unlike other states, if you assert self-defense in Illinois, it's incumbent upon you to make your case that you acted in that way. In Wisconsin, it's incumbent upon the prosecutor to disprove your assertion. You understand? You don't have to prove that you acted in self-defense and make your case as to why. It's up to the prosecutor to disprove that assertion on your part. It's the exact opposite of what it is in most states. So it's already leans towards Kyle Rittenhouse in terms of where this crime happened. So I know he's going to be convicted of the illegal weapons charge and so forth. Obviously, they concede that, but on the other ones, I just don't know. And I'm just hoping that people don't now take to the streets, sort of ill-informed, arguing that somehow, oh my God, this is a miscarriage of justice. No, quite frankly, this is a miscarriage of public policy. This is why I worry about the loosening of gun laws that allow this sort of thing to happen. Because you can't have, on the one hand, law that says you can open carry an AR-15 in Wisconsin, but then if you're attacked or whatnot and then you use it to defend yourself, we reserve the right to put you in prison. Because, those are sort of mutually exclusive in many ways. So I think that this is an example of why this problem exists in this country. We've got to stop making it possible for people to do this sort of thing.
Yes, that's a bigger problem.
The cover of the law. Mm-hmm. Exactly, but we can't now change the law in the middle of a trial. The law is what it is.
Yeah. And I think that, folks are also responding to the way the judge is misunderstanding how technology works or social media. Right. And, I don't know what kind of grounds I'll have for, saying that it was a mistrial or anything. Not a mistrial now because he is the seated judge. But going forward, I don't know what happens after this as far as any other charges or trying to circle back. I know people want to have his mom charged for driving him across state lines and dropping him off in the middle of this chaos.
Right, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I think that if he's acquitted, you're going to see a civil action on the part of Kyle Rittenhouse against the prosecutors. And to be quite frank, and unlike other people who were in a similar position and may have gotten off, the young lady in Texas, or rather in Florida, who killed her child, her baby child, and basically, the jury acquitted her. I mean, her life was over as far as being able to live anywhere. There's nowhere where she's going to be welcome. But if he's acquitted, there's all kinds of places in this country where he's going to be welcomed as a hero. He'll be given a job opportunity. So this is not that kind of case. There are plenty of places that are going to welcome him as a conquering hero.
Indeed. Thanks, Steve. I've got to go to the break. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Elliot will be right back after this. And again, our conversation is your conversation. 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-WCPT. We'll be back in just a moment on Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. That's me.
Well, Stephanie Miller here with a few words about something good that came out of the past year. Telehealth. I mean, personal health support on your phone. What's not to love? And guess who's waiting to take your call? The Tummy Whisperer. If you have any concerns about your stomach, digestion, or overall health, talk to Renee Barish. Her clients at Digestive Health Solutions use telehealth to get help with their symptoms, discomfort, and worry from the safety of their homes. A certified digestive health specialist, Renee helps her clients address issues like acid reflux, irregularity, allergies, joint inflammation. She identifies specific digestive and nutritional imbalances, develops a plan to improve your health all on your phone. And if you prefer an office visit, Renee follows all CDC pandemic protocols, including masks, temperature checks, and vigorous sanitation. Pick up your phone, schedule a telehealth visit today. Call Digestive Health Solutions at 847-207-2034. Renee will get you feeling better. That number again, 847-207-2034, or go to thetummywhisperer.com.
This is a WCPT Veteran Minute. During the Civil War, 11% of the Confederate Army was made up of enslaved men forced to join. One of these men was Robert Smalls. Smalls was a deckhand on the Confederate supply ship known as the Planter. During his time, Smalls learned as much as he could about navigating the ship so he and others could escape. And on May 13th of 1862, while officers were sleeping, Smalls, along with 16 others, took the Planter out of the Charleston harbor, navigating through all 5 checkpoints while heading to open waters looking for the Union blockade. Smalls raised a white flag of surrender, letting Union soldiers board the ship, giving them guns, ammo, and documents about planned Confederate attacks. Being a wealth of information, Smalls was given the role of the Union Navy captain. Stories like Smalls are one of the many factors convincing President Lincoln to allow free African Americans to serve in the Union Army. This has been a WCPT Veteran Minute.
On January 6, 2021, followers of Trump and something called QAnon attempted a coup at the United States Capitol. Who are these people?
I want to live with the QAnon girl. I could be happy the rest of my life with a QAnon girl.
I get from your reaction, Elliot, that you could not live the rest of your life happy with a QAnon girl.
Okay. Now, there are a lot of folks who don't understand this, okay? QAnon started as a game. It was a LARP. It was an online bulletin board where the guy who created it was pretty much, it was like online Dungeons and Dragons for political nerds. And it just got out of hand and people didn't know what to do. And the dude who was running it saw that it was getting more and more popular. And it almost became a religion where people forgot how it started.
I didn't know this.
And it just kept building and building and building. And then you have freaking Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about how Q, and I'm making the air quotes for folks watching on the video live stream, is a patriot and a person who's going to save this country. He was a game designer, okay? It was like just a lark. It was a funny thing. And on top of that, the guy who most folks who know acknowledge he's a guy that also not exactly a terribly savory person.
Oh, dear.
Has a little bit of a past. So, hey, this wasn't someone who had all this knowledge of what was going on. And to me,
it was his fantasy, because wasn't part of one of the things he said there was a child trafficking group in this pizza joint in
that
DC?
Was Pizzagate, yes. Pizzagate,
and that was
ran parallel.
Yeah.
Oh. That ran parallel. Pizzagate was another ridiculous thing that got out of hand. I remember following that for a bit and going, seriously, folks, you're taking stuff that we know was made up. We know it was made up. You go to the beginning of it. You talk to the people who actually started it. We know it's made up, and yet you're treating it like religion. I always talk about Scientology. It's very much like Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard created Scientology on a dare as a joke. Talk to the other science fiction writers who were with him at that time when they were all having lunch together, and they said, one of us has got to create a religion. L. Ron Hubbard said, I'll do it. Wow. And he did it. And now it's become this billion-dollar organization. But it wasn't it was just created out of thin air.
And it exists with control. In order to maintain that power and create that wealth, you have to control people, and that's a lot like being in, whether it's QAnon or under the idea of being a patriot. I saw this great quote today, and I'm going to misquote it. I'm just going to basically paraphrase. I'm going to give you the gist because I'm a gist reader. But it was essentially, on the idea of what people are accusing educators of critical race theory, which is actually history. It's not critical race theory that's being taught in law schools. But they're saying, look, why are you willing to take the pride and glory that you didn't achieve, but you don't want to take on the burden of how we got here? You're willing to say, like, as though when with sports teams, you'll wear their jersey and be like you're part of the group, but you don't want to, and you want to wrap yourself in the flag. But how we got there, what it takes to be there, like, you didn't have anything to do with that team. You didn't have anything to do with how we got here as a country. But you want to take credit for that, but you don't want to take the burden of whether it's racism or slavery or misogyny, all those things. So the quote was much better than what I just did. I'll find it.
Well, yeah, it's cherry picking. It's cherry picking all the good stuff, wrapping yourself up in it because that's what makes you feel good. You don't want anyone kind of like harshing your mellow at that point.
Harsh my mellow.
Yeah.
If you can feel pride in things you didn't personally take part in, then you can feel shame in things you didn't personally take part in. Some of you are motivated to make this hard, but it's only hard because you want the glory of our history, but not the burden.
Yeah, that's actually very well stated.
Yeah, see, mine was much longer and convoluted.
You said the same thing, but not with the same economy of words. Yes.
What someone told me the problem was with me running for office is that they're like, you have a lot of great things to say. It's just that you want to say all of it.
Right, you couldn't fit it all on one bumper sticker.
No. That's why we had a slogan, love. Steve, what was it? Love, justice, and love. I can't remember my slogan. Dignity, love, dignity, and justice.
That works.
See, but I got it down to 3 words.
Well, but again,
but then what does that mean? Well, let me tell you. Thank you for opening the door. Hold on here. Jim from Chicago wants to join us. Hi, Jim. How's your Friday going?
Hi, Perry. Not bad. I just heard that Ken Griffith again. He's on your right-wing radio, Republican radio. The nerve of that guy to think he's the emperor of the United States because he's got a couple of billion. You realize these billionaires actually pollute more with those yachts and their planes.
Yes.
50% of their planes are polluting more than we could pollute in 500 years. You know what I mean? The 1%ers are polluting the planet like maniacs. And then they want to dictate. Not only that, but they have the nerve to want to dictate what makes a citizen of the United States happy.
Right.
That's the unbelievable thing about it.
Jim brings up a great point. I go through and I wash all of my takeout containers that are plastic, and I'm very meticulous about taking the paper off of cans and making sure that everything's empty. But what Jim just said is true. Nothing that I do in trying to recycle, reuse, all that stuff, it compares in any way, shape, or form with the amount of waste that billionaires and corporations perpetuate every single day. Did I say that shortly enough, Elliot?
You don't know, Danny, an idling yacht pollutes more than we could ever pollute. You just idle. Just have the yacht is idling,
Yeah.
But you got that nut from West Virginia, right? He's got a Maserati. They throw themselves in front of his Maserati. The poor, people are trying to get the climate down to something reasonable. And then he gets in his yacht. In the meantime, billionaires are toasting them every night. Don't give anything to the poor. Don't give anything to the poor. And Griffin already, he's the one that reversed our tax policy in Illinois. He stuck us with this policy for the next 100 years.
Yep.
I mean, we have to. This has got to stop. Anyway, every time I hear that guy's name, I go nuts. Have a good weekend.
Well, stop listening to him. Thank you, Jim. Be well.
Sorry, bye.
Take care. I want to make sure before we throw to the traffic and updates from the station, Elliot, you guys are asking for some help and offering a great savings to folks who are looking for a new family member at the Anti-Cruelty Society.
Yes, this week up till Sunday, we are waiving all adoption fees. So if the adoption fee has been what's been keeping you from coming in and getting a new companion for your home, this is the time to come in. We are currently really full of animals right now. Lots of dogs, in fact. And we know that a lot of folks have kind of been hesitating to adopt because of financial considerations. We know the inflation being what it is. It's made it a little tough, a little challenging. So with that in mind, if you're someone who, if what you've been thinking about is getting a new pet, but that adoption fee is a thing that's keeping you, we're taking that obstacle away from you. Come on in. We are open noon to 6 on a Friday, and noon to 5 on Saturdays. Well, you know what? Call the shelter, 312-644-8338 for information. You can also visit anticruelty.org for a gallery of all the animals available for adoption, as well as an application. And
for those who maybe aren't able to adopt right now, for whatever reason, you have programs where people can support the different, whether it's food for seniors who are taking care of a pet.
You can make a donation. You can help us support seniors in need. I coordinate a program called Friends Who Care. And if you want to have a pet, even for just a temporary amount of time, our foster program is looking for folks to take in animals just for a few weeks. It's not a lifetime commitment, just for a few weeks. That would really help us a lot.
Maybe it will turn into a lifetime.
It maybe will.
A forever home, I'm just saying. That's Elliot Serrano. He's the manager of outreach programs at the Anti-Cruelty Society. We'll continue our conversation in just a moment. 773-763-9278 is the number to join us.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago traffic update.
Southbound 55 slowed traffic before Route 126 and up to US 30. This is due to ongoing road work in the left lane. The closure was scheduled to be picked up this morning, but has been extended until 5 o'clock on Tuesday, November 16th. The northbound side closure has been picked up, however. Stop-and-go traffic on the southbound side of Deuceable Lakeshore Drive between 53rd and Science Drive. Southbound Route 394 traffic is heavy between Joe Orr Road and US 30. An accident in Lake Bluff on Route 176 at Waukegan Road. And then some stop-and-go traffic in the outbound express lanes of the Kennedy between Ohio and Montrose Avenue. That's traffic, and I'm Will.
Lowe's Provember event is back, and they're thanking pros like you all month long with top values on pro brands like DeWalt and Spyder, online or in stores through November 24th. Lowe's, the new home for pros, U.S. only.
Look, staying healthy isn't easy. Watching your diet, hitting the gym, avoiding stress. But a good night's rest helps boost your overall health and wellness. And it couldn't be easier. The Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed effortlessly adjusts and responds to both of you. The result? You wake up ready for anything. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Don't miss our weekend special. Save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed. Plus free premium delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
This is Joan Esposito, and here at WCPT, we love pets. So much that we're spotlighting an adoptable, adorable dog or cat every month. So many deserving pets are waiting for their forever home. We've partnered with community shelters and our sponsors, Love for Dogs Pet Grooming and Mark Drugs, to talk about why rescue is best. It's all on Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive. See our current adoptable at WCPT820.com.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
My friend Marty, he wants to split the party. He wants blue folks in red states to vote green. I can see his point, though I really gotta say, no, we can't have another 2016. It seems nothing beats orange, nothing even freaking rhymes with it. What's a battered nation supposed to do? His Royal Orange Highness, he does love to divide us. We gotta stick together and vote blue. When I recycle, I'm green, green as green can be. I do my level best, yes, it's true.
Elliot, that is some more of Steve Goody's What I Did During My Pandemic Vacation. Everyone can go to stevegoody.com for more information about his music.
That is a catchy little ditty.
No, there's more. There's more. You're going to leave thinking, oh my gosh, can you stop with the Steve Goody music?
It's good. It's goody.
It's goody.
It's good to be goody.
Goodie. We've got Dave from Hoffman Estates on the phone. Hi, Dave. How's your chilly autumnal day going?
Not too bad.
Excellent.
How are you and Elliot doing? Good?
I'm good. You know, it snowed a little, and that's okay. Yeah, just hanging in there.
All right, cool.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You guys were talking a little bit. You mentioned something about, like, some of them, like, religion, like the Scientology and that. Got me to thinking, remember those other goofy religions, like the Moonies?
Yeah, of course.
And that.
Here's the thing. Your words are goofy. I will refrain from passing any judgment on other religions except for ones I've participated in personally. How's that?
Okay.
Because it's been several.
One that, what was it, Heaven's Gate? Whatever, the ones that...
okay, that was goofy.
No, that one was goofy.
That was goofy, yeah. I
thought you were going to refrain.
Yeah, no, that one...
Sorry, it's terrible. It was tragic. I apologize, yes.
Well, they took a good thing like Star Trek, and they turned it into a religion, and I will never forgive them for... Well, I mean, not that they need my forgiveness because they're not around anymore, but still.
Yeah. It was sad. It was very tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that with their leader Doe and they all had them tennis shoes on, but
it just went to show that you can be a very intelligent person, and it doesn't mean that you won't be gullible. It doesn't mean that you can't you can't be convinced of something that is totally detached from any kind of reality. Because a lot of times, a lot of those folks in Heaven's Gate, these are folks with masters and PhDs. These are really smart people.
And it's a good documentary, too.
Who got taken in. And it is sad. It's sad that happened. But that just also goes to show that there are people who are really, when they're seeking answers of things that are just beyond them, they'll just sometimes go down the wrong path.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Dave. I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. That's fine. I'll leave you with this one, though, so you get to the other ones. About with the Moonies again. Back when I was in the service there in the late 70s, and me and a buddy who happened to be from Chicago, we were heading on our way back to Chicago, I believe out of D.C., out of that area. And they had back before they had the Moonies having to just be able to be in a booth, when they were gliding all over, buy a flower type of thing. Well, came up to my buddy from Chicago about buying a flower, and he's like, "Ooh, get away!" He says, "I'm allergic to flowers," and this glassy-eyed thing. She goes, "Well, get it for your mother then." And he goes, "Oh no, she's even worse than me. She's more allergic to flowers than me."
The thing though about the Reverend Moon's organization, that's more of a money-making thing now than it is an actual religion. You notice how people...
Let me clear off and listen on the side so you can get to the other caller.
All right. Thank you so much, Dave. Have a great weekend.
Be well.
Take care, you too. Bye.
I mean, you really know them more for that sort of thing, trying to sell you things, trying to get money from you. You never really understand what their message is supposed to be. And so that's when you know a religion is not what it's supposed to be.
And I think because people want answers for things that are out of control is part of the draw for religion in a lot of different forms. I struggle with this because we've talked about how I grew up. My mother was Mormon. My brother, I was raised Mormon until I was 10, which was my very last day as a Mormon was the day I was baptized, because I was like, if you're going to drown a girl, better give her a little heads up. I'm like, and the guy like dunked me under 2 more times, but I struggle with it, and the struggle I have is more, I guess. I'll be honest with you. I've always been a little jealous, for as long as I can remember, of people who really believe with their full heart whatever their religion is, without questioning. And I've questioned for a long time, which can be daunting, because then it's like, if these things aren't, I question. I question a lot.
Well, I question any message that makes me question that God knows what he's doing. I mean,
right.
if God created man and it knows us intimately, and when I mean man, I mean mankind, man and woman, and knows us better than we know ourselves. There are several passages in the Bible that speak to that God knows us. Then why is God so difficult to understand sometimes? If God knows that we're going to question him, then why does it's like if our parent, if we always went to a parent and asked them questions to simple questions. We asked our parent for answers to very simple questions, and they constantly spoke in riddles and constantly dodged us, or even constantly spoken in a way or told us something that ended up being contradicted by the actual truth. I question that my parent really knows anything. So, and I don't believe a real parent would do that. I believe a real parent would be sincere and honest and give straight, understandable answers to their children. Yeah. And I think that's the way God would work. If God was really talking to me, I would really understand what God was trying to tell me. And I do know there's a lot of stuff that people want to insist God is saying that does not jive with what I believe God would say.
That's the part for me that shakes my faith all the time, is the people who, when I say they believe with their whole heart, the thing is that the people who believe what they want to believe. They cherry pick from the Bible and then weaponize their beliefs in ways that contradict so many teachings of Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, if we are a quote-unquote Christian nation, then we should have open borders. The Bible says that we are to welcome the immigrants. We are to welcome the aliens among us, because at one point we were immigrants. At one point we were aliens in other countries. The Bible, Jesus said that we are to care for the poor and the sick, look after the widow. We are to, the Apostle Paul said, we are to write and offer comfort to the prisoners. We're not supposed to just lock them up and throw them away and forget about them. No, we're supposed to bring them comfort.
What does he say about about wealth?
Oh, well, yeah, that's
so
the hard.
That's about wealth.
It's funny because I often will make a point to my conservative friends who claim to be Christian. I'm sorry, I don't mean to question their sincerity.
They identify.
Their faith. The way they identify. But I'm like, well, yeah, but what you're saying about capitalism is contrary to what Jesus said, and the Bible even says, "Do not accrue treasures on earth where they can rot, where thieves can get to them. Accrue your treasures in heaven, where no thief can touch it." And that's the way I've always raised. I mean, I don't think God wants me to be destitute and living out on the street, but at the same time, it shouldn't be that I'm looking for richness in this life. Yet
we don't want to have a rocket ship go up and explore space.
See, here's the thing: they've done that. That happened in the book of Genesis with the Tower of Babel, and God didn't like that.
So?
If you wanted to go into space to find God and have a what for with him, so
let me tell you something, God.
Let me tell you something, buddy.
By the way, Elliot, I'm very excited because we have a listener who's listened to us for a long time. Judy in Niles used to stay up late with us, and here's Elliot and Judy. Hey, Judy, how are you doing?
Hi, and may I take a moment to say I'm really happy to hear Elliot again?
Yay, yes.
Thank you, Judy.
Hi, how are you? I've missed you.
Thank you. I'm going to tell you, I've been kind of a hermit. It's so nice to know I've been missed, so thank you.
Haven't we all? And this is not the time. I was just telling Lady B what I've been doing to try and get in the whole program because it conks out about 4:30 right now. Of course, once we hit the winter,
when the sun goes down,
I'll start getting minutes back. I hope.
Yep. Can you listen online?
Anyway,
can you listen to us online?
I tried, and it kept conking out too. I think it's me.
Oh boy, we'll have to get you on Facebook because we live stream, and YouTube. We're also live there.
Well, I don't know that. My husband did get it in, and we listened, but I kept yelling at him and bringing him back out in the kitchen saying, it went out again.
Oh, no.
Judy, you're going to make me do like John Cusack in Say Anything. Stand out in front of your house.
I know.
With the thing on a speaker.
I was thinking of getting a couple coat hangers and going outside.
Lady B, we'll have to keep a line open for Judy so she can listen while she's on hold for shows.
No, I rescued this little table a couple of years ago from the Salvation Army. It's adorable, but I really have, it's one of those little occasional tables that you put a vase or a plant on. And I've had it in my front window, but my husband just refinished another thing. I gave it to him because I'm usually the refinisher to keep him busy. So that one worked out better, and so I had to put this in the bedroom. But I just dragged it back out here because when it went out, I found that when I moved it a couple of feet, about 2.5 feet north, I got it in again.
It's a roving signal.
Yep.
I have roving radio going, wiggling it around, turning it. I was making me laugh, and I thought, well, I think I will call in and tell you what I've been doing to try and keep the radio.
Keep the radio going. Yeah, you can stay on hold and listen to the show. I'm sorry that's happening.
Well, we did this. She put me on the hold. I thought, well, maybe I ought to just call in and let her,
stay on hold.
I can hear it through the radio, telephone.
You can stay on hold, Judy. There's no problem with that. All right.
I talked to a wrong number for 45 minutes one time.
I love that. All right, Judy, I'm going to keep you on hold, okay?
No, that's all right. I got it in.
It's okay.
What have we got? Only a few more minutes. I've only got to run around the room with it for about
Poor Judy. Have a great weekend, my friend.
You too.
Thank you.
You too, Elliot.
Thank you.
Yay, Judy. And before we go to the break, hey, Mary, what's on your mind?
Hi. I every time I hear Judy, I think about changing my sheets.
I know, me too. So Judy
I feel guilty.
I know. I think
I should probably change my sheets.
I don't think I've changed my sheets since Judy told us she was going to change her sheets last month.
I know. Yep. I know. We're filthy dogs. We're going to change our sheets, Patty.
I know.
Oh, my gosh. But tell Judy, if she's listening on...
She is.
On the computer, it happens to me where the station conks out, hit refresh the page, and then hit play again, and it comes right back up.
Okay. Good advice. Thank you.
Well, Judy's on hold, and she can hear everything, so we can.
Okay, Judy, try that and see if that works. And I adore her. She's lovely.
Me too.
Animal adoption. My husband went fishing in the middle of summer, and he brought home a bunch of fish and a kitten. And that, I know. Listen, I already have 2 dogs, 2 cats, 2 ferrets, and a turtle.
Wow.
And he had rescued, he rescued the dove after we got the kitten. So we still have that kitten. And then 2 weeks later, I hear this screaming out on my patio. I'm like, what is that, this meowing? And I look out there, and there's this teeny tiny little fluffy black kitten on my patio. So what was I to do?
Meow.
I had to go
word gets around, Mary.
Yeah.
They're out there now. They know. They're like, okay, well.
Eaton's good at our house. Eaton's good at our house.
Yep.
And we've got the security cameras. He's like, there's another kid on it. I'm like, yeah, they're all talking about us now.
Mm-hmm.
So I love what's happening with the rescue, and I love that the fees have been waived. But yeah, I'm full.
You're full. Yep. I hear you.
And my husband's like, I think we have too many cats. I'm like, you think? Try feeding them all. Religion.
Yes.
First of all, the Bible. It's a lovely book. And I should start this off by saying that my parents, they're from Ireland. Like, they were so Catholic, born, raised. I mean, there was no question. Everything that ran their life was Catholicism. And so, of course, they had children, and we were born, raised Catholic. But then you grow up and you start thinking on your own, and I question things, and then when that Spotlight movie came out, it really disturbed me.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course I do. It's a great movie for anyone who hasn't seen it. Hasn't seen the movie. It's set in it's the true story of the Archdiocese in Boston covering up all of the abuse that was going on in the Catholic Church, and just dozens of it was.
For decades.
It's a great movie. I highly recommend it. I agree.
Yes, and it just made me question so much because you think you're being raised in this family that is there to, promote all this goodness, and then you find out that there's this hierarchy of evil, and I had to take a step back. I had to take, born, raised Catholic, went to parochial school my entire life, but I'm just not sure if I would consider myself a Catholic anymore.
Do you feel, I mean, I don't know how to word this, as Elliot will attest, and we talked about earlier, I'm a little verbose. Do you feel like a little bit of guilt that you're part of an organization that perpetuated this sort of trauma? And
No, I do not.
Okay.
I do not, because I truly believed what they said to us. I truly believed, you do that. Now, I understood when I went to grammar school, and we were taught Adam and Eve and all that other stuff, and then you go to high school and you were taught theology, and you're like, wait, what? Adam and Eve weren't real? Okay. Right.
Right.
All right, we'll make a pivot.
Or do you feel tricked at all then?
No.
Okay.
I feel angry and disappointed.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I'm a mother. I have 3 boys, and these people, they hand their children over to you. You have a greater responsibility, and it really all comes down to what? Politics and money.
Yep. And power. I would say the bigger thing of that is the biggest part of that though is power. The money and but with those, with power comes the money and everything else. But I would say because there are dynamics in other arenas where money isn't even an issue, and we'll talk about that when we come back with the Chicago Park District, because there's no money involved really in that. I mean, I guess $100,000 salary is enough to want to keep people quiet. I know, Elliot, but it's not that. It's not like it's the same as what kind of money is brought into the Catholic Church. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to ramble there, Mary.
No, it's okay. And Elliot, I totally lied to my children, and I do not feel guilty about that. I loved when they were 4, and they would ask me a question about where does the moon go, and I'd say, it went to bed, and they totally believed me, and I have no guilt about lying to them about that whatsoever.
That's different, though.
I used to lie to Griffin. He would ask me where hamburgers. He was like, they come from cows, and I go, well, the ranchers go out and they pick up the ones that die naturally. They tip over, and then
the mad cow burgers.
They never asked me anything so deep like that.
Oh yeah, Griffin's don't get me started.
I still say it's good to tell your kids about Santa Claus. Give them that idea, and the ideas, and that aren't entirely true, but no, Judy, you're
Santa Claus.
You're all good.
You're a good mom.
I believe I am. But when my sister finally told my nephew, who is really, really intelligent, he was at that age where they knew, sending him to school, like 5th grade, that it would come out. The gig is up, and they told him that Santa Claus isn't real, and it's really mom and dad, and it was devastating. He was like, "Wait, what?" Because he has issues with God, and he had issues with God and Santa Claus to begin with, but he got presents from Santa Claus, and so they told him there was a long, day-long discussion about this, and so they had answered all his questions, and he seemed okay, and he walked into his room. But a couple minutes later, he comes out and he goes, "Wait a minute. Now, what about the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy?"
The jig is up.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I've met the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
He's cool dude.
Serious business.
Slowing down.
Yeah, I imagine.
And I will say he needs help, but he's real.
Oh, my goodness.
Mary, I'm super late for a break. I've got to run. I'm so sorry.
Take care of it. Thank you so much, Patty.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let's take a break here, and when we come back, we got a few more minutes to wrap up. We're hanging out with Elliot Serrano, the manager of Community Outreach Programs, and they are waiving fees all weekend until Sunday. So go to anticrueltysociety.org.
Anticruelty.org.
Anticruelty.org for more information if you want to foster or donate to one of their great programs. Some more in a moment on WCPT 820. We're driving it home, and I'm your host, Patti Vasquez.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
You want a quick fix to feel better and perform better at just about everything you do? I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. The secret is sleep. Adults need at least 7 hours a night, kids even more. But so many of us aren't getting that. If you're someone who struggles with sleep, you need to start by making it a priority. above just about everything else in life. You already know how you should keep your bedroom quiet and dark and cool. Experts say you'll get the best sleep if you go to bed and get up around the same time every day, even on the weekends. If you're still having trouble, try banishing devices from your bedroom. Get an old-fashioned alarm clock and start winding down an hour before bed. That means staying away from your phone, the TV, and bright lights. And one more thing, people who exercise regularly report getting better sleep as well. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Doesn't your family deserve the best? Eggland's Best Eggs. Classic, cage-free, and organic. Give you and your family more. More delicious, farm-fresh taste. Plus, superior nutrition. Compared to ordinary eggs, Eggland's Best provides 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat. These are no ordinary times, so why choose an ordinary egg? Only Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Look, staying healthy isn't easy. Watching your diet, hitting the gym, avoiding stress. But a good night's rest helps boost your overall health and wellness. And it couldn't be easier. The Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed effortlessly adjusts and responds to both of you. The result? You wake up ready for anything. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Don't miss our weekend special. Save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed. Plus free premium delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
1, 2, 3, 4. Delta spawn. Damn, we thought this crap was gone. Could it be we're heading back to quarantine? Now the governors of red states have gone and outlawed mask mandates. Seems to me the GOP wants us to die, including kids. I'm sure glad I got my full vaccine.
That's Steve Goodie. Go to stevegoodie.com, GOODIE.com for more of his music. I'm guessing that Mark isn't going to be buying that album. Mark in Libertyville is giving us a call with a question for us. Hey, Mark, I hope you're having a lovely Friday. What's on your mind?
I am. Just a question, and your guest had mentioned, and I'm just curious because my wife and her family attend a church in Libertyville, and I've had discussions with this as far as immigration and where it fits in theologically, and we are a country of laws, and we want to be compassionate. But I mentioned your call screener. There's 7 billion people on the earth. Probably 6 billion of them would do anything to have a better life than what they currently have. At what point do you say, you know what, that we do not have the capacity? And it's not that we're not compassionate. There's not the capacity to have every living being that wants to come here and have their life.
I think Elliot has a handle on where you're coming from. Take it away, Elliot.
Well, you understand that the moment you say it's not that we're not compassionate, everything that comes after that disproves that. You realize that between 1900 and 1915, the United States took in 15 million immigrants, and the country did okay. Add to that there were, you talk about we are a nation of laws, all you needed to do to immigrate to the United States was get on a boat and come here, and we just let you in. And, we've got folks who want to shut that door, but if that door existed when their own grandparents started coming here, they wouldn't even be able to say anything. So where is there a limit to what we can do? Is there a capacity? Consider that the United States has 5% of the nation, the world's entire population, and yet we consume more than 50% of its resources. I think there's a little give there, that we can share a little more, that we can help other people live lifestyles that are humane, I would think.
Well, I'm trying to
out of the 6 billion, please listen, out of the 6 billion, let's just use that as a number. What number? Should we let 5 billion in?
Well, it sounds like you have a number. What's your number?
My number is, you know what, that and please understand, a lot of these people that come here, okay, there are jobs for some of them, but there's also a significant amount that don't have the ability to really support themselves.
That's not a number. You're asking us for a number, but like I said, it sounds like you have a number. Like, you know, if you
I'd like to hear the number. I would like to hear the conservative number.
We can't afford what we have. We can't afford what we have.
Actually, we can afford what we have. We are one of the richest nations on the planet. We have people in this country alone who live in excess, who have multiple mansion homes, who have yachts and multiple cars. They live above beyond their own means. They have wealth that they will never spend in their own lifetimes. And yet, we're okay with that, while other people live in poverty and squalor, and we're saying we don't have enough to care for everyone
because we're just not Christian enough.
Mark, what's your number? How many people do you think is okay?
With that point, I will agree with you 100%. In fact, I'm a huge fan of capitalism, but within capitalism, I just had a conversation with a coworker that, to me, it's very disappointing. Even in living in this area, you know, out of these homes, are you doing this for your family, or what reason are you people building these homes that use resources that are just wasted?
Yeah.
So you just made my point for me. You're saying we don't have enough, but there's plenty out there.
This conversation turned out well, and
in that point, I agree.
Let's leave with an agreement because I'm out of time. Thank you so much, Mark. We will continue this conversation again. I am sure of it, and I'm so grateful for the level-headedness and the wonderful tone. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Mark. Seriously, we're done. Elliot, everyone go to anticruelty.org. Where do they find more about your show, Shaken Not?
Oh, and there's also, if you're a James Bond fan, you can always check out my show, Shaken Not Heard, on Facebook.com, on Twitch.tv, as well as on YouTube.
Excellent. Lady B, have a great weekend. Everyone take care. Be safe out there. The roads are nasty because everyone forgot what it's like when it's slippery out. Rick Unger Show is up next. Yes, Elliot.
Judy, you can hang up now. Bye.
Bye, Judy. Bye, everyone. We adore you. Take care. I probably should. We're going. Bye, everyone. Do I hit a button?
If you're looking to purchase a new home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Dahlia, 27, nurse, wanted to purchase a home. Dahlia talked with an online lender who did not answer her questions, so she called her mom for advice. Dahlia's mom